Welcome to Mind Matters. Today I'm taking on 10 tough social situations to show you strategies that can help with social anxiety. Social anxiety is something many of us experience. That sense of dread before a social event, unsure if you'll say the wrong thing or feel awkward. But you're not alone. Social anxiety is common, affecting over 12% of people. That's why I created this video, to share 10 strategies that can help you handle social situations with more confidence. If you're ready to take control, let's dive into 10 actionable tips that can make a real difference. Tip number 1, practice self compassion. We are often our harshest critics. When anxiety strikes, it's so easy to spiral into negative self talk. We tell ourselves things like, why can't I just be normal? Or I'm so weak for feeling this way. But beating yourself up only makes the anxiety worse. Self compassion is about treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a close friend. Imagine your best friend is feeling anxious about a social situation. Would you call them weak or tell them they're failing? Of course not. You'd reassure them that it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes and remind them of all the strengths they have. Start practicing this with yourself. When those anxious feelings come up, instead of criticizing yourself, take a deep breath and acknowledge that what you're feeling is tough but normal. You're not broken, you're human. Shifting your mindset to be kinder to yourself can reduce the weight of your anxiety and give you the space to move forward. Tip number 2, focus on others, not yourself. When we're caught in the grip of social anxiety, we tend to hyper-focus on ourselves. We're constantly monitoring how we're coming across. Am I saying the right thing? Do I sound weird? What do they think of me? It's exhausting. But the truth is, most people are too busy worrying about themselves to scrutinize you. One of the most effective ways to shift out of this anxious mindset is by consciously directing your attention to the people you're interacting with. Ask yourself, what's the other person interested in? How can I engage with them meaningfully? By focusing on learning more about the people around you, you naturally take the spotlight off yourself. A great strategy is to ask open-ended questions that allow others to share more about themselves. People love talking about their experiences, interests, and opinions. When you get genuinely curious about others, the conversation flows more smoothly and your anxiety fades into the background. Plus, people are more likely to enjoy your company when they feel heard and valued. Tip number 3, take small, manageable steps. Facing social anxiety head-on can feel overwhelming if you try to tackle too much too quickly. That's why it's essential to break down big, anxiety-provoking situations into smaller, more manageable steps. Think of it like building a muscle. No one goes from lifting light weights to heavy ones overnight. It takes time and gradual progress. For example, if the thought of going to a large party makes you feel anxious, don't force yourself to dive in head first. Start with something smaller. Try going to a social event where you know at least one person, or plan to stay for just 30 minutes instead of the whole evening. Celebrate these small victories. The goal is to gradually expand your comfort zone without overwhelming yourself. By taking small, manageable steps, you build confidence with each success. And over time, the bigger social challenges will start to feel more achievable. Tip number 4, prepare ahead of time. Preparation is a powerful tool when it comes to managing social anxiety. When we're anxious, our minds tend to go blank in the moment, making it hard to think clearly or come up with what to say. But by preparing ahead of time, you can give yourself a roadmap to follow when the anxiety starts creeping in. Before you enter a social situation, think about potential topics of conversation. If you're going to a party, is there a recent event or shared interest you can bring up? If you're meeting someone new, prepare a few questions that can help break the ice. Another useful strategy is practicing how you'll introduce yourself or answer common questions, like, what do you do? The more you prepare, the less likely you are to feel caught off guard. This preparation can give you a sense of control, helping to calm your nerves when you step into the situation. Tip number 5, use positive self-talk. We've all been there, standing in front of a group, feeling our hearts race and thinking, I'm going to mess this up, or everyone's going to think I'm awkward. Negative self-talk can fuel your anxiety and make social situations feel unbearable. But here's the thing. you have the power to change that inner dialogue. Positive self talk is all about shifting those automatic negative thoughts into more helpful, encouraging ones. Instead of saying, I'm going to fail, try telling yourself, I've got this, I'm prepared, and I can handle it. It might sound simplistic, but changing the way you talk to yourself can have a profound impact on how you feel. With time, these positive affirmations can become second nature, boosting your confidence and helping you approach social situations with a calmer mindset. Tip number 6, recognize and challenge negative thoughts. When you have social anxiety, it's easy to let your mind jump to the worst case scenario. You might think, if I speak up, people will think I'm stupid. Or, if I go to that party, I'll end up embarrassing myself. These are called cognitive distortions, irrational, exaggerated thoughts that increase your anxiety. The key to overcoming them is learning to recognize when they happen and then challenging them. Start by asking yourself, what's the evidence that supports this thought? What's the evidence against it? More often than not, you'll find that your fears aren't as grounded in reality as they feel. For example, if you're worried about saying something awkward, ask yourself, have I ever had a conversation that went well? Have I ever made a mistake that didn't end in disaster? By questioning these automatic thoughts, you can reduce their power over you and start to feel more confident in social settings. Tip number 7, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is about staying present in the moment and observing your thoughts without getting caught up in them. When we experience social anxiety, our minds often race ahead, imagining all the things that could go wrong. Practicing mindfulness helps us bring our focus back to the here and now. Before entering a social situation, take a few deep breaths and ground yourself in the present moment. Notice how your body feels, the sounds around you, or even the sensation of your feet on the floor. These small mindfulness techniques can help you feel calmer and less overwhelmed by anxious thoughts. Mindfulness isn't about eliminating anxiety altogether. It's about acknowledging your feelings without letting them control you. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to remain calm and present, even in stressful situations. Tip number 8, use visualization techniques. Visualization is a powerful tool that athletes, performers, and even business leaders use to build confidence and improve performance. When it comes to social anxiety, visualization can help you mentally rehearse and succeed in social situations. Instead of imagining everything that could go wrong, take a few minutes before a social event to close your eyes and visualize yourself handling the situation confidently. Picture yourself making a great first impression, having a comfortable conversation, or even enjoying the event. This simple practice can help shift your mindset from anxiety and dread to one of optimism and preparedness. When the real situation comes, you'll feel more at ease because you've already mentally rehearsed success. Tip number 9, build a support network. It's easy to feel isolated when you're struggling with social anxiety, but one of the best ways to combat those feelings of isolation is by building a strong support network. Having people in your life who understand what you're going through and who can encourage you makes a huge difference. Start by opening up to a trusted friend or family member about your anxiety. Often, people are much more supportive than we expect. You can also consider joining a support group, either online or in person, where others who are going through similar experiences can share their stories and coping strategies. A strong support system can remind you that you're not alone, and it can provide a source of encouragement and accountability as you work to overcome your social anxiety. Tip number 10, celebrate your wins, big and small. When you struggle with social anxiety, it's easy to focus on the times things didn't go as planned. Maybe you felt awkward at a party, or you stumbled over your words in a conversation. But if you only focus on your perceived failures, you'll overlook all the progress you've made. Instead, take time to celebrate your successes, no matter how small they might seem. Did you introduce yourself to someone new? That's a win. Did you show up to an event, even if you felt anxious the whole time? That's a win too. Every step forward is a victory, and by acknowledging these wins, you start to build confidence and momentum. Overcoming social anxiety is a journey, not a race. Celebrate every milestone and be proud of the progress you're making. And that's it. 10 tips to help you manage social anxiety and boost your confidence. It's all about learning to manage, not eliminate, anxiety. Thanks for watching. Share your experiences in the comments, and don't forget to check out my video on building confidence. See you next time.